is basically evaluating the performance of an employee on the basis of his past actions, that how he or she has performed their tasks in the organization or the tasks assigned to the employees or the individuals. It is a process that involves determining and communicating an employee that how well, how good or bad they are performing while doing their tasks assigned. What is performance appraisal? First point is identification. This means the area where the employees need to focus on, or on the basis of what the employees has to be evaluated by their, either by their supervisor or by their trainer. Second is measurement. It entails making managerial judgments of how good or bad the performance of employee was. That means in this point, the manager will discuss that how good or bad the employee is performing, and he or she will be judged on the basis of his actions. Third is management. Appraisal should be more than an examination of the past events. It should be a futuristic point of view where the past events are evaluated and the employee should be given some suggestions so that they can improve their performance in the upcoming future. Now, why there is a need of doing performance appraisal? What is the need of doing performance appraisal in the organizations? Performance appraisal offers advantages to three aspects. There are three dimensions that we will be studying. First one is individual. Now, in this dimension, we will discuss recognition of the past efforts. That means the employee will be recognized, will be appreciated on the basis of his work done. Second is developmental requirements can be uncovered. Now, performance appraisal can enhance the hidden talent of the employee. Second dimension is team. Now in this we will cover alignment of effort with the objectives and the motivation of team members. Now if performance appraisal happens to be in the organization with more sincerity, without any discrimination, so it will lead to team building. Third point is organization. So it includes development of the staff, achievement of key objectives. Now here the objectives means the objectives of the firm, of the organization. Third one is best and focused utilization of human resources. Herein human resources means the employees working in that organization. Objectives of performance appraisal. Now in this slide we will discuss what is the need behind performance appraisal, what is the motive behind doing performance appraisal practices. First one is compensation decisions. Now appraisal practices helps in giving the employees a better compensation package. The employees who are working well will be given more better packages, and the employees who are not performing up to the mark, they will not be given extra compensation. Second point is promotional decisions. So performance appraisal helps in promoting the employees. Third is training and development programs. So wherein the employees or the managers find any kind of loophole, so to fill that gap, to bridge that gap, training and development programs can be organized. Fourth one is feedback to the employee. So the employee who is facing certain issues, who is not able to perform well, should be given some suggestions so that he or she can improve the tasks. Next is personal growth and development, and last is to explore the hidden talent. Now appraisal practices helps in highlighting the talent, highlighting the hidden talent that is inside the individual, so that basically will be covered with the help of performance appraisal system. Characteristics of an effective appraisal system. It basically is related to job related criteria. This is related to the expectations of the performance that managers or the company is having from its employees. Third one is standardization, trained appraisers, continuous open communication, and the reviews of the performance. Who can appraise? Now who will be the individuals who will be a part of the performance appraisal process? First one is peers. Second is the supervisors or the managers, subordinates. The individual can self-appraise themselves. Users of the services, the services in which the organization is dealing. And last is consultants, basically which includes third-party individuals that can also help the organizations to appraise their employees. Now performance management process has 6 stages. First one is establishing the performance standards. Second is communicating standards and expectations to the employees. Third is measuring the actual performance. Fourth one is comparing the actual performance with the standards set by the organization. Fifth is discussing the results. In this point, we will also provide suggestions to the employees. And last is decision making, or this step is also known as corrective decision making. That means corrective actions can be taken against the loopholes to bridge the gaps. Establishing performance standards includes the benchmarks that has been set by the organization. For example, there is a sales team and that has set standard for selling a certain amount of products in a particular year. So that means that is basically a benchmark that is set by the organization to its sales team. Second is communicating the standards. Now, this standard should be communicated to the particular department for which the standard has been set. After communicating the standards, third is measuring the actual performance. Now, for example, if selling 1000 products has been set as a benchmark and the organization is able to achieve 950, so there is a gap of 50 products which has not been sold by the organization. So in fourth point, we will compare the actual performance with the desired performance. That means 950 is the actual performance and 1000 is the benchmark that is set by the organization. Fifth is discussing results. Now, the difference of 50 products will be discussed with the employees who were a part of the sales team, and they will be given suggestions on the basis of what they can improve their progress in the future. And after discussing the results with the employees, corrective actions can be taken so that the difference of 50 products can be fulfilled when next time the benchmarks will be set. Now, there are various methods of measuring the performance. Individual evaluation, multiple person evaluation, and third one is other methods. Now we will discuss these methods one by one. Individual evaluation methods, first one is confidential report. So this is basically a report which is managed by the manager or the supervisor, in which the manager will write the good and bad about the employee, but employee will not be aware that what is there in the report. So that is basically kept confidential, that will not be disclosed to the employee. Second is essay evaluation. So in this method, managers and supervisors describe the strengths and weaknesses of their employees. In this report is basically an essay writing kind of appraisal method. The rater considered which factors to write that essay, to write the strengths and weaknesses. That includes knowledge of the individual, employee relations with his or her co-workers with whom they are working with in that organization, employees' planning and organizing ability, and employees' attitude and perception. Third is critical incident technique. Under this, the manager prepares a list of statements of every effective and ineffective behavior that can be expected from an employee. So on the basis of what the individual will be judged. For instance, the sales officer patiently attended the customer's complaint. He is polite, prompt, enthusiastic in solving the customer's problem. So this is basically a decent attitude by the salesperson. But in the second case, the sales officer stayed 45 minutes over his break during the busiest part of the day. He failed to answer the store manager's call thrice. He is lazy, negligent, stubborn, and uninterested in work. So we will be able to identify that which type of employee is working well in this particular incident. So obviously the situation given above, the employee herein is more active, more prompt, and more enthusiastic. So he will be given more rating when compared to the individual, the case given below. Fourth is checklist. So it represents a set of objectives or descriptive statements. So on the basis of these statements, the individual or the employee has to be given a certain ranking. But in this, the response will be yes or no only. There is no intensity that the manager is strongly agreeing or disagreeing to the statement. He or she either has to mention yes for the statement or no for the statement. Fifth one is graphic rating scale. So this is basically a form, printed form, that is used to appraise the employees. So herein the scale will vary from unsatisfactory to outstanding. That means lowest number will identify the bad outcome, and the numbers in the increasing order will identify the better performance. For example, here the 0.1 indicates unsatisfactory and 0.5 indicates outstanding. So that means if 5 rating is given to certain individual, that means he or she is performing extraordinary in the organization. Next point is behavioral anchored rating scale. This is also known as BARS, BARS. So here it is a combination of rating scale as well as critical incident technique. So in this method, incident will be there and employees or the managers has to rank their employees on the basis of how their employee has performed in the organization in a particular situation. So these are certain dimensions or the steps in BAR's evaluation method. First of all, collection of critical incident, that what exactly is the incident happened in the organization. Second is identifying the performance dimensions. Third one is reclassification of the incidents. Fourth is assigning scale values, that means numbers to the incidents. And last one is producing final statements, which will help the organization and the managers to rate their employees. So this is basically rating scale. 1 means unsatisfactory performance and 0.5 indicates outstanding performance. So these are the situations or the critical incidents where the employee has behaved in a certain way, and on the basis of their behavior they have been ranked from 1 to 5. Forced choice method. So the primary purpose of this method is to correct the tendency of the rater to give feedback to their employees by giving them high or low ratings. So this is the very uncommon method. This is not used by the organization in the present scenario. Herein, either the employee has to mention least or the manager has to mention most. So there is no neutral response here in this appraisal method. Either the employee, for example, there is one situation, does not waste time. So either the manager will mention here most, that means he wastes most of the time, or least, that means the employee utilizes his time, he do not waste his time. Next one is management by objectives. So in this appraisal method, it requires the management to set certain objectives. First of all, the objectives for the organizations are being set, then for the employees. And then on the combined basis, the objectives will be achieved by the organizations as well as the employees. Next is multiple person evaluation technique. So first one is the ranking method, where the employees will be ranked on the basis of their work done. And when large number of employees are working, rating of individuals becomes a difficult task. So in that particular situation, such type of methods can be used to save the time. Next is paired comparison method. So in this method, one employee will be compared to the employee. That means two employees will be compared at a particular time on the basis of single trait. For example, we can check whether the employee is efficient. So two employees will be checked on this trait, that is efficiency of the employee. So one employee will be on a higher scale and one employee will be on a lower scale. So that is why this method is known as paired ranking method or paired comparison method. Next is forced distribution method. In this, the rater is asked to appraise the employee according to the predetermined distribution scale. That means the items are already being set. The managers only had to rank their employees on the basis of the work assigned to them. A 5-point performance scale is used without any mention of descriptive statements. For example, all top grade workers should go to the highest 10% grade, 20% employees should go to the next higher grade, and so on. So there is no boundation. If you have this criteria, so you have to take such percentage of employees to the higher level. So this is basically forced distribution method. Next is group appraisal. In this method, the employee will be appraised from the different perspectives, from the different opinions. That's why it is known as group appraisal. This group uses one of the multiple techniques discussed earlier in the previous slides. The immediate supervisors enlightens other members about the job characteristics, demand, standards of performance, etc. Then the group appraises the performance of the employee, compares actual performance with the standards or the benchmark set by the organization. And after that, areas of improvement are always there, so that suggestions can be there, it can be given to the employee. Next one is assessment center. This is not merely a technique of performance appraisal by itself. In fact, it's a system or organization where assessment of several individuals is done by various experts using different techniques. In this approach, individuals from various departments are brought together to spend 2 or 3 days working on individual or group assignments similar to the ones that they will be handling when they are being promoted to the higher level. 360-degree feedback method. So in this method, the system collects performance information from the different dimensions from multiple parties, including the subordinates, the peers, the supervisors, and the customers, basically with whom the employee will be interacting for the long run. Upward and peer feedback may or may not have positive effects on the behavior. So thereby, in this case, 360-degree method will come into picture, and it will be a better, it will help the manager to give better decision. Procedure of conducting 360-degree appraisal. So first point is the determination of the objectives. Second is deciding the receiver and giver of the feedback. That means who will be appraised and who will be appraising that individual. Establishing performance criteria. Mode of collecting data, that can be through interview, that can be through questionnaire. So any method of data collection can be used. Finalize the method of data analysis. Next is execution of the feedback. And last one is evaluation and communication, which includes the communicating the results to the concerned person. Thank you.